Emily.
Good evening, everybody. This is Robin with another edition of Horror Pop After Midnight, and my guests tonight are filmmakers Brett and Jason Butler, and actress Emily, and Tim Rozon, who everybody knows as, Doc Holliday on Why Not Know Earp. Welcome to the show, guys.
Thank you for having us.
All right. I just saw Purgatory Jack. I really enjoyed the hell of it. So far, it's one of my favorite indie films of 2024. Great story. And the one thing I liked about the film, I love how you, with the cinematography, how you shot the certain colors and the certain scenes with that natural lighting to make the picture authentic looking.
Yeah, that was a big thing for us with the cinematographer Daniel Everett Locke and our production designer Allie Thompson coming up with the look. And our big thing with the shot selections was to make it really feel like a graphic novel. So there was a lot of just on sticks with the very distinct frame, and let the actors act.
They did a pretty good job. So Brett and Jason, was Tim your ideal to play Jack Marlin?
Tim's our ideal to play Eddie Man.
Yeah, I mean, Tim was, we looked him up. You kind of just get the picture in your brain, and you can imagine him with the fedora and the jacket and the look and the vibe and the style, but you're never really sure until the camera starts rolling, and then you just see it go. And then Brett and I were just looked at each other and we're like,
yeah, we knew the coolness from Doc Holliday and Winona Earp, and the comedy as Mutt in Schitt's Creek, because we want to do the hard-boiled detective story. That was always like a big thing Jay and I wanted to do, and one of our big influences was the Long Goodbye with Elliot Gould playing Marlowe. So bringing some of that comedy, so having those nice comedic touches along with the suavite.
Yeah, I think when we sent the script off to Tim's agent, and you send it off to agents sometimes, you never know how the actors are going to respond to the script, but immediately Tim's agent got back and said, Tim loves it, and he thought it was funny and cool, and all the sort of touchstone sort of remarks we were looking for, in particular, like Brett said, sort of that sort of dark humor that some people just don't get when they're reading it, and to have someone sort of pick up on that right at sort of the script level, you're probably in for a good ride.
Let's talk about the sets on the film, especially Jack's apartment. I liked it was so 40s, 50 retro with all those clocks with 237. I just loved the different styles and the settings that you did on certain sets of the film.
Yeah, I mean, we knew this was going to be a heavy design film, and lucky enough, had my wife, Allie Thompson, be the production designer. So she was fully invested from 3 years ago. She started collecting elements for the film. So while we were working to get financing, we were just filling up parents' basements, our basement, storage lockers of all sorts of cool stuff, and then just being able to find the places in North Bay to make that happen. But we came with truckloads of elements for this world.
A lot of clocks, picking up a lot of clocks. Whenever we saw a clock, we'd acquire that clock.
A lot of clock stealing anytime we went to someone's house.
Now, who owned that beautiful blue Mustang that Tim drove in the film?
That was we were looking for a cool car for Jack Marlin for a while, and it was at our budget level very difficult to locate. But when we first arrived in North Bay, we heard about this car club that they had, and they met at this coffee shop every day at 3:00. So we stalked them and seduced them with some good guy talk, and they actually supplied us with 3 cars for the film. So there was the Jack Marlin car, the big, then the with the big trunk that the old folks hop in, and the V-bus. But that was a big thing, finding Jack's car.
Yeah, the fella, the one guy actually worked in the business, so he's like, "Oh, I'm a driver." So we kind of negotiate a little bit of a deal. Said, "Okay, well, we could probably use you as a driver on set if you can kind of hook us up with these guys." So we went to the car show, we looked around, we did a little, finger pointing and stuff like that, and he found this guy. It was actually his neighbor, and the Mustang itself was sort of, I think he explained it like it hadn't been in use for 30 years, a really long time.
Yeah, like the guy bought it as his dream car, and then I think the wife was like, "You're not driving that." And it just sat in the garage for like 30 years. So it definitely had some hiccups while we were filming.
Now let's go to Emily, who plays Flo. How much fun did you play that role? Because you were such a badass in that film, man. You were like taking names, and you weren't afraid of nothing, and you wanted to get all those body parts so you can be that perfect woman in Purgatory, and plus that badass katana sword.
I love hearing that so much. I that's all I want to be is badass. So thank you for saying that. Really appreciate it. I had the most fun. We just played every single day on set. I wasn't there for very long, and it was so cool to just come in and get to be big and fun, and still, it was so great working with the guys. You guys were amazing at just kind of letting me run wild, and then had really cool notes to give me, and it was the best. My only request when we were in pre-production was that I have a large fake bum, and Ali made that happen, so I was pretty stoked.
I bet you were. Also, you had some great chemistry with Tim in the film. You guys played off each other pretty well, like you guys known each other for like years, which made the film even pretty good between the two characters, between Flo and Jack.
That's so cool. Yeah, we've actually worked together 3 times now, so that's cool to see that some of that came out.
You can tell from the emotions between you and Tim. You guys, nailed those scenes to the T. Especially, the flashback scene. The origin of you guys. During the jazz. And Tim, did you really play that saxophone?
I did, to the best of my ability, and I did take lessons with the guy who actually the Butler brothers hooked me up with. I got to tell you, listening to the brothers talk about the beginning process and saying those nice things about me was not the worst. And to have you follow it up with Emily saying nice things was also pretty good. So I really like your podcast. I got to tell you. It's really good. I feel lucky because I watched the movie literally on the weekend at the Horror Film Fest. And the biggest reaction was Emily's entrance. With the slow-mo when you come out in the orange jumpsuit the first time and he's waiting for you there. And I just remember that's exactly what the girl said behind me. Badass. As soon as
it's so fun.
It was awesome.
Slow-mo makes everything better.
Yeah, it was really good. And the fake axe looked amazing in the slow-mo. The first, when you did the spin, it was like, it's perfect. Yeah.
It wouldn't have been the same.
Yeah.
So
when you did that request for the butt, it was like, yes, we cast the right person.
I'm so stoked. The email chain between Ali and I talking about the butt and where we're going to order it from and the profile and can you send me some under cheek measurements, and it's just ridiculous. I think we ended up calling it my dump truck. And so Ali would be like, I got a new dumper in. Let me know if you received da-da-da. It was hilarious. There was a lot of effort that went into that fake butt.
Yeah, but you loved that big butt, didn't you?
I sure did. May never have it again.
Tim, when you became Jack Marlin in Purgatory Jack, when you got that role, how did you portray yourself in being Jack Marlin? Was there any inspiration, or did you kind of ad-lib a little bit, or did you try to make it as smooth and original when you were acting out as Jack?
Obviously the film noir stuff and the detective stuff, I had been a fan of a lot of that stuff. And I would love to say that it was Chinatown or something cool, but no, it was a video game called Fallout that I used to play that had this cyborg film noir detective by the name of Nick Valentine. And there was like one mission you could go on where he's got a detective agency and he's going to look for his lost love. And it was one of my favorite levels I ever played, and I probably played it for like the past decade. I played that game mostly for the Nick Valentine level. So it was kind of a nod to him. He even had like the little fedora and stuff. So yeah, I don't know if the Butler brothers know that, but yeah, it was like a cyborg film noir guy. That was kind of that's who I kind of modeled in that.
This is new intel for everyone. Hot off the press.
Hot take.
Yeah, I mean, that was one of those things where at our budget level, we're not really afforded the luxury of rehearsals or anything like that. So you're kind of in hope when you're discussing the characters with the actors that it's going to be all come together, but you're kind of fingers crossed on the first day. And when Tim walked in and started talking in the Jack Marlin voice, we were just like, fuck yeah, that's Jack. That's Jack / Nick Valentine.
Right. I also remember too with Emily in terms of like, not knowing what the actors are going to bring exactly. You just kind of trust your instincts on your choices. Emily, again, with your hair, you came out with your hair the first time, and it was Brett and I were like, yeah, it's okay. And you're like, nah, I'm not feeling it. We need more like feathers, more like big and mangy. Like, yes, that's exactly correct. That's because Brett and I were like on the fence for like, does she like the hair? Are we happy with the hair? So we were all like kind of hemming and hawing, and then you're like, I'm not feeling it. We're like, yes, we're not feeling it either. So it's those kind of little moments that you have just when you're going to battle there. You're like, yeah, okay, where everyone's feeling it. We're on the same wavelength here.
Yeah, it was really cool because I feel like none of us had the right language for it, but we all knew what we wanted and what we meant. Like I was just like, I think it should be this, and then here, and like, yeah, like this, and then that,
yeah.
And then it's
Yeah,
here, and then like less here, but more here, and yeah.
Yeah, it's all under the sort of the vague umbrella of how we all define badass. So we all kind of knew, we all have our own ideas, and it was all on point ultimately, but getting there and finding the language was tricky.
Instinctual.
Yeah, it was instinctual. The racing suit helped as well, I'm sure.
Oh, the racing suit was smooth. It kind of reminded me of the Kill Bill suit that Uma Thurman wore, but, different color. And Emily also kind of had that final girl vibe, too. Besides being a badass, she kind of had that little final girl vibe a little bit, too. So
very cool. I think Allie actually hand-dyed that suit, too. I think it came in white, and then she colored it.
Yeah, created the color, all the patches, the whole look of it.
Yeah, and I think that was a direct pull off one of our very first pictures, Brett, for like our first lookbook when you're sending it around looking for financing. So I think Allie really took that one, and it was an old 70s biker gal with like a racing suit on, sleeveless, and it was pink, and just basically made that herself.
Well, yeah, because the whole idea was that it would have started red in Purgatory, but she's been there for so long and just been under the souls burning that it has just faded from souls.
Soul bleached.
Soul bleach, yeah.
Now let's talk about the special effects makeup on the bridal gown lady who was like blind. She was very creepy looking and supernatural-ish. She made my skin crawl, man. I wouldn't want to be in a room with her, man. She freaked me out.
Yeah.
Nicest lady ever.
Yeah, it's usually the way.
She is. Yeah, that was from it was an old myth of a story, I think called The White Lady, about this woman in Quebec in the 1500s whose husband went off to war immediately. And once he did that, she threw herself in her wedding dress over the Rockies or something in a barrel, and then would be in purgatory for life. So that was kind of the background of her character. And
Yvette.
then Yvette, yeah. and she became so depressed with the world of Purgatory. She had to burn her eyes.
Oh, yeah. I mean, the makeup and everything looked pretty good. Let's talk about Alexandra Beaton, who played Viv Vicious, the neo, punk rocker chick that came to Purgatory. I love the costume she was wearing, and she had that typical punk rock hairstyle. It kind of reminded me of some of my punk friends I grew up with in California during the 80s. I mean, she was very punk retro.
Yeah, no doubt. I mean, we really love that hairdo. That was sort of something, again from the '80s hard rock, hardcore scene. But then we wanted to bring its own flavor. We really wanted to make that hairdo sort of something very distinct, and I think we came up with it. And again, it was on the day. The original hairstyle, Brett and I were kind of like, it's not as cool as we were hoping. And then, we applied this on the one side. Poofed it up more, had more poof. We're like, tease it more. And you also have to factor in how quickly it takes to sort of redo the hair once it gets wet. Like on day one, she gets dunked into the barrel of piss. And it's sort of like, well, how long will it take to redo the hair? So it's got to be that combination of looks like it takes a lot of time, but doesn't take a lot of time kind of vibe. And so we're really happy with it as a sort of a very distinct hairdo. And I think, again, once that hair came into play, I think that helped Alex feel the Viv vibe when she just looked at herself. It sort of just added to her essence of what she was bringing to the character.
Yeah, kind of our whole inspiration for Vivacious would probably be Kathleen Hanna from Bikini Kill. And so who has that very Valley Girl style with her voice and demeanor, but then is super punk rock, started the third wave movement of women and women to the front. So that was always kind of an inspiration in her character for us. And damn, did it take us long to fill up that barrel of piss. We had to get the whole crew just pissing in there.
Just going all the time. Water in, piss out.
I gotta say, on my end, Allie Beaton is she's phenomenal as an actor. She's such a good person too. I remember day one, her and I had that 5-6 pager, and I mean, she was just so prepared. I was like, it was such an amazing feeling. Like I showed up on that set, and the costume, it's just like you guys said, like everything just felt right. The costume felt right. The Butler brothers were awesome. The set was amazing. It had all the clocks. And then I knew the person I was going to be spending the most time with, okay, here we're going to start building this relationship personally too, outside of the acting. And she was amazing, like just super chill, cool girl. I'm like, okay, so that's good. Let's see how the acting is. And then we did the scene, and both of us were so prepared. And then she was playing on stuff. I was like, all right, this is going to be awesome. This movie's going to be so sick. And it was. Like, it never changed from day one until all the way to the end. She's awesome.
Yeah, there's so many times where she'd nail it in one take. And we're like, we got it. And she's like, what? And we're like, I don't know. We don't got any notes. Just trust it.
And people love the bolts. The bolts you put in. I don't know whose vibe that was. Who said that? But everybody talked to me about those bolts.
Yeah, that was an Allie idea. The bolts.
Yeah, the bolts look pretty sick, man. I like that part of it too. It's pretty good, and I also like the dark humor in the film too. Let's talk about the Body Sisters. Boy, they were obsessed with each other and their bodies. What was up with that?
That's some tight sisterhood right there. It was. I think the only thing, if we had more budget to more play with kind of the swapping of bodies and being to dive in like that, but it's taking that classic high school girl and pushing it to the limit when they're so infatuated with each other that they actually want to switch bodies, and they just love each other just as much.
I thought it was funny. I thought it was the best thing about the humor. They were the best stand-up comedians on there, man. Every time they had that scene, different scenes, I kept on busting up laughing. They were just entertaining me.
They were definitely that kind of idea in our minds of kind of breaking up, because there's a lot of some pretty intense family and drama and stuff like that going on. So having them kind of interplaced throughout the film just to give some levity to all the other goings-ons we thought would work well.
Yeah, let's talk about the creepy sweetie pie shrine. That was like Hannibal Lecter's Silence of the Lamb type of thing, a shrine with all these young women. I mean, that whole room was just creepy.
Yeah, I mean, it was great. I mean, that's what we were trying to go for. Super creepy. The couple that played the nooses, it was so great. We love the fact that when we were casting them, Brett, like Helene, Mrs. Noose, and Aaron, Mr. Noose, they had like the same eyes, like kind of like bags under their eyes, and it was just like they look like they've more like that old timey couple that they start to grow and start looking alike as they grow old together, and we're like, that's really idyllic. They loved it and embraced it. People love playing terrible villains and creepy characters. I think it's just more fun. So credit to Tim who gets he has to play the straight guy to all these people who are just like going crazy around him all the time. He's just got to play it cool, which is a skill unto itself. But it must be frustrating for you, Tim. Sometimes you're like, damn it, they're having so much fun.
Yeah, everybody was so good. You guys cast the movie so well. And I noticed that more and more because I've got to watch it so many times now. I'm so lucky. Like, I think one of my favorite parts now is played in the operating room with the deaf lady when he's like, 6, you're up. Like, there's so many little funny parts in the movie that are just put in there too, alongside the stuff. Yeah, everyone's so good. It's sometimes tough not to break, but Jackson Purgatory, man, he's on a mission. It's all business.
100%.
Yeah, that was that bit part where Plater, does he have a little bit of heart?
Yeah.
He has a little bit of niceness right there.
Yeah, Jack was more like a chaotic, neutral type of character. He was there when you need him, and there was times it's like, hey man, it's me, not you. I got to take care of my business before I decide to help you, which I like how Tim turned that character on and off from, hey, we like this guy, and then you end up turning him out going, man, he's a dick. Which is pretty good as well. And then the ending, that threw me off. That was a great ending, and plus I liked it because it also had a happy ending too. So
yeah, it's always interesting when we were, had been working on the script for so long and having it in our head how it all comes together, that it's 3 generations, and not wanting to give that away and always thinking, we want the audience to be sniffing around ideas, but not, to still have it as a big surprise at the end. So it's always that tug, push, pull with the storyline in terms of how much information do you give to the audience and still have that passionate thing at the end where, oh shit, they're all family.
They are. Will there ever be a sequel where we see some more adventures of Jack Marlin?
Oh hell yeah, that's the dream. Yeah, we're working on a prequel graphic novel right now, which starts with the arrival of Jack and Flo in Purgatory, and then you'd see how they became the characters from them being musicians in the 50s to hardened detective and badass gang leader. Because there's 50 years to fill there. And then we still have the opportunity, would be a sequel afterwards with Jack working with his daughter, Gloria. And we still know that Flo's still sticking around. So
I really want more Flo, Gloria. That scene was stand out. Those two together, the dynamic. Emily's amazing at that.
I love Laura. Laura's so amazing. We actually used to waitress together like 10 or 15 years ago. It's so cool to work
I
together.
actually thought your chemistry with her was incredible. Like the way you guys played off each other, and you were like teasing her and pissing her off, and she just kept that stoicness. It was great, man. That scene
She's
was
so
awesome.
cool. I feel like she has such gravitas. I love her. Oh, what happened?
Yeah, the Gloria the Gloria character was
Butler Brothers movie.
Yep.
Yeah.
It's all It's all
The
set up.
podcast.
The supernatural stuff.
Better.
That's awesome. Yeah, Laura's pretty amazing. We were surprised. Obviously, you knew Emily already, but she's British, so she you know, in her regular talk when you're just talking with her, she has like a very sort of very Britishy gravitas. Like feels like she went to Oxford. Very knowledgeable. Everything sounds just very smart coming from her.
And she is.
Regardless of
She
what
is
it is,
very
a peanut
smart.
butter recipe, it still sounds very, very pristine and intense and intelligent. She just has that kind of vibe, and her acting style is such. I think Brett. Remember, we asked her on set. We're like, "How do you get into that that confrontational vibe you've got?" And she said her thing was always listening to Bon Jovi.
Bon Jovi.
Yeah,
That was her pump up for Gloria.
yeah. On the steel horse I ride. Wanted Dead or Alive, I believe, was the particular song. And she just plays that in her head right before she starts riffing and going at it. So,
Yeah, and she gives so many different styles of takes too. She give you a lot of different looks. I remember she was saying she'd love to do every scene like 50 takes.
Dang.
yeah. So we're like, we got enough, Laura. You're already giving us a wealth here. So it's very interesting how everyone has their different styles, and you really notice, especially in the editing room, you really appreciate how good these guys really are, like Emily and Tim, and just the tiny little nuances, whether it's doing the same thing 3 times in a row, but they're acting different, but the movements are exactly the same to make it cuttable. And those are the things that you really can appreciate, especially in the editing room for Brett and I. It makes our lives so much easier when we're working the scenes, and you're like, because they really understand the medium as well, how you can just change your eyes just a little bit, or your mouth, or crinkle and it changes the whole tone of what you're doing, or a slight body language. So it was really just a joy when it came to editing, and that process was super quick for us as a result too. It was like, this is great. There we go. Works so
I
well.
loved how feral Emily was in that in Studio 27 with Laura.
It was so fun.
Yeah,
That was an awesome scene to shoot. And we had so many people in there. We had everyone. We had all the goons, and that was chaos and so awesome.
Yeah, a lot of chaos.
A lot of chaos.
Yeah, I
And
love
you just
that.
roaming around with a sword. Nice life, Emily. You get all the fun.
I just remember being like, please, can I please cut off his head? And you had all these like super specific style choices, and I was like, but can I add in a kick? And I think you gave me an extra head stomp from the stairs.
From the
I got to
stairs,
kick
yeah.
someone in the head.
That's right. Yeah. Made the
Yeah.
cut too. Nice one.
Yeah.
Now, congratulations. You guys won Best Feature Film for Indie Horror Junkie over at MegaCon in Florida. And Tim was there holding that beautiful award from Indie Horror Junkie. And I know Rick and Amy, who, run.
Hey, there it is.
Yeah, that's a beautiful award. And Emily's probably thinking, going, I can't wait to get mine so I can display that, over in my bedroom.
I'm ready.
So, Tim, when you were at the festival,
split parenting, 6 months a year, I'll send it. You can have it, then the other 6 months I'll get.
That's
Yeah.
Custody.
Custody, whatever it is, sure.
So, Tim, when you were at the festival showing the film, how did the audience take it? Did they really love it? How much did they get into the film? And I'm also heard there was a lot of Winona Earp fans there as well.
Yeah, there was a couple. I mean, yeah, the indie horror junkie people were great. They said great things about you too. They have a podcast also that they're pretty famous for. They were great. I mean, I showed up and I just hung out with them. We talked about old movies, and then I got to watch a couple other movies before I got in there, and then they did the awards presentation. I didn't know anything, and we kind of won. and then I went up and accepted on behalf of the Butler brothers and everyone else who made the movie, and then I sat and watched the movie. But like I said, yeah, I'm lucky. I've seen it a couple times in different places, and the reaction is always different and in different places. But the one place that's always the same is Emily's entrance. Like, it's always like, yo. It's just like, you know what I mean? It's like someone always like badass, sick. This one was really interesting because there was a lot of film people there. So there literally was a director behind us that just loved every shot that these brothers came up with. And that's all they were talking about was shots. And like, oh, do you see this? Yeah, this is great. This is how you bring it in. This is how you bring it in. And I'm like, I don't know what they're talking about. You know? Yeah, everyone loved it. It was great.
It's so cool though. You guys used a ton of wides. Like there were very few close-ups, which I love.
Yeah, I think, and that makes the close-ups more powerful when you use them. Yeah, that's a big thing for us is preparing the shot list. And so the film is basically edited for us, you know, before we're done the movie. As we start the movie, it's already cut together if we do it right. But yeah, I mean, that was the big thing, building this world, and then you're going to spend all this time building the world. So you want to show it off in the wides. And that's, you know, that's how you bring everybody in.
Tim, you must be a huge horror fan because everything you do involves horror. You were in the two Terror Train films, which you can see on Tubi, where you played this illusionist. Then, of course, Winona, Earp, and then, Paranormal Estate. You must have to been a huge horror fan to keep on being drawn back into doing certain horror films.
I mean, yes and no. I'm very fortunate. I got an older brother who was into all that stuff, so I was watching Night of the Living Dead, and I grew up on all the Friday the 13th and Nightmare on Elm Streets and Halloweens. I watched all of those things from like 6 years old on. So my young brain has been exposed to many things that shouldn't be for a long time. So maybe that kind of stuck with me. I'm actually not like a huge horror fan. I do remember the biggest fight I ever got into with my wife was over a movie, and it was a movie she made me watch by the name of Martyrs. I don't know if anybody's seen that movie. Oh my goodness, that's fun.
I feel like we need to hear that story, Tim.
Yes, Tim, tell us that story.
Yeah, I need to hear that story.
Air it out.
No, she made me watch the movie. It was a horrible movie. What the poor people went through in the movie was horrible, and we had to watch it. And I was upset because I was like, I don't want to watch this anymore. But that was the movie, so I had to watch it. And that was like our biggest fight because we had already gone through this with this other stupid movie called The Human Centipede, which other people should also not watch. I don't know why they do that to those poor people. Yeah, I like the genre, but I'm also sensitive to the genre, I guess, is what I'm saying.
Very sensitive soul.
Yeah. But when it comes to human centipedes, I guess I am.
Draws the line.
Yeah, Jason, Dream Warriors, amazing.
There you go.
So, Emily, what was that horror film that really got you, that really scared the living tar out of you?
I think Insidious, probably. That was the one that I can think of most recently. But everything scares me. I can't stop watching true crime. I don't know what it is about women, why we love true crime so much, but that's all I've been watching lately. So it's not proper horror, but real life horror is, I don't know. I can't stop watching it, and then I can't sleep at night. I don't know what's wrong with me.
Vicious cycle.
I remember, a classic filmmaker here, but and Brett worked at a video store as well. But when he had a video store, it was always Friday nights and Saturday nights. Invariably, it was like 12 and 13-year-old girls coming and trying to rent the creepiest, worst horror movies ever. Without fail. It was always 12 and 13, 14-year-old girls. I don't know what it is about the horror genre and terrifying yourselves. And apparently it's just ongoing. It never ends. You just terrorize yourself. Tim pulls out
I don't know what it is.
Scared. I don't know what it is. It's real though. So,
It's a thing.
It's a thing. It's a thing.
What about you, Brett? What was that one movie that really got you into horror?
I don't know. I really like the kind of the classic, I guess would be considered the bad horrors, but like, what is it? The Slumber Party.
Massacre?
Yeah. Watched that many times.
Great movie.
Yeah. Definitely original Nightmare on Elm Street is something that we go back to. Original Friday the 13th, like the first one. Love that. Something always is terrifying about the mother being behind everything. That always is very, very haunting, as opposed to your classic killer. But yeah, say like for our influences for this, I mean, this was a lot of unique, different stuff. I'd say we had like Repo Man and the Warriors and Beetlejuice, and then in the 70s it's like Chinatown, and then you go back. We were trying to bring in so many different decades of influences.
There was a lot.
Oh, sorry, Robin. I was just going to say it's kind of exciting. What was exciting for Brett and I when we were doing Purgatory Jack, and it did become a little overwhelming. We're like, wow, because in Purgatory they can be from any generation, anytime, anywhere, and then you got to sort of get specific. Otherwise, you can just sort of paralyze yourselves. But what was really interesting is if we do a prequel or do a sequel, you can bring in other influences, and then you can do those influences within the filmmaking styles you choose. So what we really liked about this was doing, again, sort of the rear projection styles, an homage to back in the day, not only just to noir films, but to like that particular time of filmmaking and how they would do those shots. So it's exciting that we can sort of investigate those different worlds again, and then say, oh, well, it's the 30s, and we got a character from the 30s, and let's do some. What did they do in the 30s filmmaking wise? Let's figure that out. So it's kind of interesting, exciting how we can kind of mix and match that way.
We'll do a silent film Purgatory Jack.
Yeah, exactly.
Oh, that would be smooth. Shot in black and white, do like a Hitchcock style type of vibe. Where you see Tim as Jack and just in this silent movie, and he's just silent through the whole movie.
Well, I want that prequel graphic novel to come out first. I've been petitioning that from these guys from day one. I feel like I've been bugging them from day one to get that, to make a book. Just because the first time I read the script, it was one of those things where I was like, this world is just so cool. You know what I mean? Like, you just knew immediately. Like, crossing a border means there's no going back. Like, there's just parts of a story or a world like that has such, like, coolness to it that's just not out there everywhere else, that I was like, this needs to be a book. This needs to be, for sure, a graphic novel. So I want that first, then you can make your silent film.
Yeah, I want a graphic novel.
And then a series.
Yeah, series is good, too.
I want a graphic novel of Purgatory Jack. I also want a Purgatory Jack action figure, damn it. An action figure of Tim Rozon is Purgatory Jack. And also I want a Flow action figure.
I want that.
Yeah, with extra big bumper option. Bumper enlargement options.
You keep
like
more ass.
Like a Mr. Potato Head.
Yeah,
that's right. Extra big
That's
pillows.
actually very appropriate because you replace parts like crazy in Purgatory. That could be part
There
of
we
it.
go.
Have a little kit of extra parts, switch them in and out.
Yeah,
Dear
it's
Mattel.
a good think tank going on here.
Oh, my goodness. Imagine the plater. I mean, the card piece would be the first thing you lose. You'd lose your little piece. But where's the card piece to my guy's lost his little thing?
Yeah, got another cod piece.
Yeah.
Selling those little cod pieces.
Looking everywhere for it.
Yeah, I want a Flow action figure with a katana chop action where you press the button and you have the katana sword. It's like...
Yeah.
Yeah. And then it just slices off little penises. Right into my drawer.
In a little tiny drawer.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah, you were having too much fun with those.
Oh my gosh, so silly. That was a silly day on set. I don't know what happened there. I'm like the least sexy person on the planet, and I was like, okay, I think this is a masturbation scene, and I didn't know what to do, so I just started panicking with it and playing with it like a airplane, and made the cut. So there we go.
Oh, I was laughing at that scene.
Yeah, every time I've watched the movie, the reaction has always been people loving it and laughing and just enjoying it for what it is. Because it's actually a very endearing scene for your character, to be honest.
Yeah, I don't know if it was supposed to go that way. The guys were awesome. They were kind of like, okay, yeah, that's enough. That's good.
Yeah, we didn't see that coming.
Please stop.
And then also in the film, we can't forget Vivacious #1 fan who was so into her too, man, with that arm.
Oh yeah, Mercedes, she was great.
Yeah, we really wanted to show like that Vivacious was an iconic character in the real world, and so having a super fan who liked the spoken word, that's a true fan.
Led to her being cleaned too, so something to be said there.
That's right.
Smooth,
man.
Smooth, clean cut arm, man, and got an autograph on it by Viv. That was pretty funny. I'll be your best friend. I'll be your obsessive best fan friend.
That's right.
Yeah, it must be good though. You're showing up in Purgatory in this very strange world, and you still got fans. That would be like Tim Rozon. He'd show up, he'd have fans.
Oh, everywhere Tim goes, there's somebody stalking him and having fun with him. That's never going to end.
That's right.
Well, as long as it's at a con, because I can always talk comics.
Oh yeah, I'm a big comic fan too. I'll tell you a funny story. I was at Whorehound, waiting in line to meet Norman Reedus, and this is when Walking Dead was starting getting popular. And one of the fans bit him. It was dressed like a zombie, just bit him for no reason. And I saw that. I was like, why would you want to bite somebody like that? And that person got kicked out of the convention. And man, Norman just had that weird look on his face.
Yeah, that's going to happen the rest of his life. That's why it's very important what roles you pick. He's got fighter fans now. So
why would you want to go?
What? Like great people.
The fighter fans. Why would you want to go up to somebody you don't know and bite them in the arm like that? I think that was just ridiculous.
Yeah, I mean, I imagine Tim and Emily can speak to that. I mean, there's something about being in the limelight like that. There's that sort of blurring of reality between the character and the person, and the super fans and what they can get away with. I imagine it's kind of. I imagine you guys both have some interesting stories about super fans.
No, I fly way under the radar. No one cares. My husband gets recognized all the time, though we can't go anywhere without. He's got a huge young male audience, I guess, and they're always Italian because he did this Italian show, and we can't go anywhere without guys stopping, and they pass me their camera. They go like, "Oh, can you take a picture?" or their phone or whatever. And I was like, "Absolutely, I'm the photographer." Yeah, we went on our honeymoon a couple of weeks ago, and three different groups at the resort we were at recognized him, and by the end of the week, there was like a group of people following him around everywhere. It's just like, oh man, I don't know, Tim, how do you deal with that stuff?
Well, luckily, I'm under the radar enough. I'm at the point, to be honest, where people most of the time think they know me because they don't remember where they know me from. So they come up to me and they go, "Hey, how you been? And I'm good." And I wait for them to click, and it's normally about 15 seconds in. They're like, "Oh my goodness,
You're not."
Yeah. It even happened to me at one of the cons I went to this year. Evangelina Lilly did it. She walked by. She goes, "Hey, how are you?" And she kept walking, and then she turned around. She came back. She goes, "Oh my goodness, I'm so sorry. I apologize. I just realized that people do to me all the time. I thought I know you, but I know you as much shit, and I'm so sorry." And I'm like, the Hobbit elf is talking to me right now. What the hell's going on? This is amazing. This is like the best day ever. Like, best day ever. Yeah.
Yeah.
So people come up to me like, on the street or whatever, like, "Hey man, how you been?" I'm like, "Good, buddy." I'm good. Just wait till you figure it out that we don't know each other.
The first time that I worked with him, I was super nervous to work with him because I love Schitt's Creek so much, like everyone else in the world. And I was just like, oh God, I'm going to do something dumb for sure. I know it. And then I think I was just kind of mean to you the whole time because I was so afraid of you not thinking I was cool or something. So I was kind of weird and standoffish with him. And then Tim's the nicest guy on the planet, so made me feel
I was
comfortable
probably
eventually.
talking about my cats, so you're not. It's like,
Yeah.
That's crazy.
Less intimidating.
One more question. This is for Tim. Tim, how much fun did you play Doc Holliday and Winona Earp? I mean, every time I watched the episodes with you as Doc, I can tell you were just having the time of your life, man.
yeah, I mean, I could say it for Jack too. It's one of those characters. I'll say it for Luke Roman on some real estate. I'm just super lucky that I get to play these characters that aren't normal characters. You know what I mean? That have there's something. I love sci-fi supernatural stuff. So to get to play in that world, that's why I want to be an actor. I think that's going to make me continue wanting to be an actor. It's like Emily said at the beginning of this podcast. I just want to play, and that's what it is. A character like Doc Holliday, man, you get to play. That's it. I'm an undead cowboy from, I'm 170 years old with a curse, and it's like, yeah, who's to say if I'm playing it right or wrong at that point? Same with Jack. Who's to say with a guy who's like in purgatory, and I just want to play. I love the Butler brothers because they want to play.
Mm-hmm.
I love working with people like Emily because they want to play. So I just want to make movies and shows with people that want to play because it's the best way to do it.
I think so too, and I can't wait to see what the Butler brothers do next. I mean, they got a new fan out of me. I mean, this is my first time ever hearing about you guys, because of Purgatory Jack, and I'm looking forward to seeing what you guys do next. I mean, you got a fan out of this guy. I love some Butler brothers, man.
All right.
Awesome. Appreciate that.
Yeah, so that would be interesting to see what you guys do next. I wouldn't mind seeing a Purgatory Jack animated film, too.
Yeah, well, coming out of this podcast, we got the action figures, we got the comic book, we got the television series, and now we got the animated series. So,
silent film version.
It's going to be rich.
silent film version,
Jack
yeah.
takes a vow of silence for the entire movie, like Warren Oates and Cockfighter. It'd be great.
So, Tim, did you get to keep Jack's outfit, that smooth outfit you wore in the film? Did you get to take that home?
No, I never do. I never take something from a project that I really like doing because I feel like that way there's always a chance that it will come back. And it's worked out for me many times. That way that thing, whatever it will be, it'll be waiting for me when I come back.
Oh,
Yeah, we got all the costumes safely tucked away, ready for the prequel and sequels.
nice. That's good to hear. I'm glad that's happening, and I can't wait to see it. It's going to pretty rock. So where can everybody find you guys on social media to see what you guys are going to be doing next?
Us, we're Instagram, we're at Butler Bros, BUTLR BROS. We're also Substance Production, so we're at subprod.com, SUBPROD.com. Those are probably the two best places to find us at. And then there's a Purgatory Jack movie Instagram to follow along, and Facebook page.
What about you, Emily? Where can anybody find you, or are you just like under the radar?
I actually don't have any social media, but I love doing takeovers and stuff too. So if anyone has, a page or site, I don't even know what they're called, but I've done some takeovers where they give me the password and then I post for the day. So that's cool. I like doing that.
You know something? Maybe I'll talk to the Butler brothers and give you my password. You can be me on Instagram for a day.
I'm so down. You have to send me clothes and everything. I'm going to get right into character.
Yeah, I will. And they'll be like, boy, Rob, those are some interesting posts you've been posting today.
I won't say anything either. We'll just do it. We won't tell anyone.
So, Tim, where can everybody find you?
I'm the real Tim Rozon as opposed to the fake Tim Rozon on the Instagram. That's it. That's all that's left. My Twitter has been hacked, and
Damn.
there's no going back to get it.
That happened to me. I can't get on my Twitter. I tried everything, so mine's lost too. I mean, I don't know. Who knows? Someone could have took over mine. I don't know. I can't get in mine either, and it sucks.
I don't mind. I'm waiting for my Instagram to get hacked, and then I'm done.
The reason why I'm on social media is because of my podcast and my love for independent, horror films and also all genres of film. If I wasn't doing this, I wouldn't even be on social media at all. I'd be like Emily. I'd be under the radar.
Podcasts are the best, though, because you can actually have full conversations. I love podcasts. I think this is the best way.
Yeah, I think so too. And before you guys came on, I was talking to Brett how I got into podcasting. I'll tell a quick story before we get off. How I learned how to interview and got into podcasting. I used to be part of a pro wrestling independent promotion over here in Ohio. So I did commentating, and then I did backstage interviews with these big burly buff guys, and they would like grab me by the throat, throw me around and stuff. And I learned a lot how to interview people from watching these wrestlers do these promos, and that's how I learned how to interview and started podcasting. And then I took 3 pro wrestling training courses, and I was sore for a week. My body wasn't so used to it. I got beat up. I took a lot of bumps and hits, and the wrestlers that were training with me were loving beating it. It's like, oh, we get to beat up Robin. So they were sitting there like putting me in all these like moves, and it was very painful. And for a week, I couldn't walk, I couldn't sit. So every time I got in a car, I would wave somebody. It's like, hey, can somebody come and help me get out of my car? I can't move my body.
Wow.
There was 2 actors in Purgatory who were on the Northern Wrestling Circuit.
Oh, no kidding.
Yeah, the actor who played the cult member in the bus.
Yeah.
And the actor who played Billy Joe are both wrestlers.
Oh, yeah.
That's right.
You got to give those guys props because they go on the road like 24/7. They don't make money. Most of these indie guys will only get like $20 a night just to do what they love and bruise their bodies up like that. It's sad. And they travel everywhere, and that's all they get. They'll get like $20-$25 just to get in the ring.
For the passion.
Yeah, for the passion.
I love it. For the play.
Yeah, that's right. Especially Canada. Canada is a hotbed for pro wrestling, especially up in Toronto. But anyways, you guys, thank you for coming on. It was a blast. Thank you guys for coming out of your busy schedule to come on and talk with me tonight.
Hey, thank you so much.
Yeah, Tim.
Thanks so much.
Yeah, I'm looking forward to meet you guys in the future, Tim. And if I see you at a convention, Tim, we'll do that prom pose picture.
100% prom pose. Can't wait.
Yeah.
Hug it up.
People will be like, Tim's doing a prom pose with another guy?
No problem. I'm down.
Hey, I'm down. I'm down too. I think it'd be fun. So we'll do that the next time I see you at a convention.
Yeah.
But anyways, thank you so much. And everybody, thank you for listening to Horror Pop After Midnight. Have a great evening.